guys, and welcome to this week's episode of Stream Squad.
Hello.
Yeah, this is your first time tuning in. I'm Angela.
And I am Dan.
And we've got a fun show for you guys today.
Yes, lots of stuff. We planned everything on Monday, and then we're getting more and more information as the week went on. Got some more exciting kind of new stuff going on to talk about, especially in the industry news. I think a lot of good topics to talk about today.
Yeah.
So with that, I think, Angela, what's going on with? Are we going to start with Facebook?
Yeah, we're going to start with Facebook as usual. So this one is building off of what we discussed last week. Last week, remember, Facebook had just announced its plans for 2018, where it's going to promote personal Facebook posts over kind of professional published posts. They realized that a lot of people said their Facebook feed seemed clogged, and that was because a lot of businesses were all over their feed where they weren't seeing posts from family and friends as much as businesses. So Facebook is going to be promoting that personal content because it's something people are more likely to engage with. Businesses who are doing sponsored promotions, those will not be affected, but general business posts will be seen less and less. Another thing Facebook announced is they're still going to prioritize video, and especially live video, since that's something that is able to be interacted with. Whether it's a personal source or a business source, live video is going to be at the top of the feed on all sides. So in the week since that's come out, a lot of businesses are getting, really strong video ambitions. They're figuring out how to make better video and longer video. A lot of companies were making, 5-10 second little mini videos, and Facebook's not going to promote those as much, so they're working on how to create longer content and to go live more often. Also, Facebook is testing something new called Watch Party, and what that is it's going to be a way for groups of people to watch the same not live video at the same time. So let's say there's a 20-minute video that gets posted by a business or a friend. You and a group of people can all schedule to watch that video at the same time, comment on it together, and be on the same pace. So this is something new that Facebook's testing out to just a few people, and that should be rolling out to more users quickly. Of course, Facebook Watch is always still there for premium content. I've noticed just on mine alone in the past week or so, I'm getting more notifications to check out the Watch tab on my phone or on the computer. So they're definitely pushing that to try to compete with YouTube, but they're also going to be promoting live video a lot. So if you guys are watching, you have your own business page that you use on Facebook and don't want to just pay for sponsored content over and over again, it is highly recommended by Facebook and by other Facebook users to start doing more live videos. That's the best way to engage with your audience like we're doing right now, but it's also going to get you at the top of people's news feeds.
Yeah, I just think it's exciting.
Yeah.
We talked about it last year where Facebook is starting to put that emphasis on the video and specifically live video as they are moving forward, and this is just another step in that direction. And I mean, it's exciting for us. I like doing the live video, and that's kind of what we're trying to do, is help everybody else make better live videos. So hopefully that'll happen too.
Yeah, definitely. Still on the Facebook train, they have come out with a study recently. They noticed a lot of people were having problems with their Facebook mobile app. So if you guys use the Facebook mobile app, you might have experienced a crash every so often, but for a lot of users, they started reporting this was happening more and more frequently, where some people would get, reportedly halfway through a status, the app crashes and they have to start all over again. So some causes of that, of why the app could be crashing, first would be if your app is not up to date. This is something not just for Facebook, but for Switcher Studio or any app. If your app is not up to date, it's got a high risk of crashing. So if you're experiencing a crash with your Facebook app, check in your App Store or in the Google Play Store and make sure that you do have the most up-to-date version of Facebook. On that same wavelength, make sure you've got the most up-to-date operating system on your phone. If your phone is out of date, that's also going to cause more glitches, more crashes to happen, especially if you're updating the app and not updating your phone. That's going to conflict what's going on with that. So the first thing to do is to make sure everything's up to date. Also make sure there's not a login error with your Facebook. If you are logged into Facebook and then you go on your computer and change your password, it might not kick you out right away. You might be in the middle of doing something. The app recognizes your, login is no longer valid, and it's going to sign you out or crash you. So make sure you don't have a login error. Also make sure you've got memory on your phone. If your phone's out of memory, that's going to slow things down. It could also cause your phone to overheat, and that's going to cause those crashes to happen more often. So definitely go through, delete apps and photos and videos that you don't need or that you've already copied somewhere else, and that'll help you out as well. So those are the main things to check. One last thing, if you're still having problems, is to do a hard reset on your phone, and that just means turning your phone completely off, wait about 30 seconds, let it power back up. That'll clear a lot of those issues that are in the cache.
Yeah, you mentioned the storage being an issue and whatnot, and that we run into that sometimes with Switcher too. As you're doing more video, it's going to take up more and more space. Something you can do. This isn't just for Switcher, but even Facebook is a big culprit of this, and Twitter as well, where you can go in and you can just delete the app completely and then reinstall it, and it kind of gets rid of all that saved data on it. Now, of course, if you're doing that with Switcher Studio, you're going to lose all that video on there. So if you want to save anything, you want to back it up first. But sometimes, like deleting pictures off your phone or whatever, they go into the deleted folder, and then you have to delete them from the deleted folder. And then it's like, is it really gone or is it still there? And it's just like an easy way to do it is just
get rid of the app.
Get rid of the app, reinstall it, and it's kind of like doing a hard reset on just one or two apps. And I think you can go into the general settings and then manage storage or something is in there, and you can find out which apps are causing that's like you to run out of space, and you can back up the stuff you need, delete everything else, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah. And the last thing that we have for industry news today, this is our late breaking news that has come out. Our friends at DJI have a new drone that's going to be coming out very shortly. It's the DJI Mavic Air. So this thing looks really cool. Some of the features it comes with, it is easy to carry, it's foldable, so it makes it really portable to take with you on the go. The gimbal axis, it's got a 3-way gimbal axis so that I can get all kinds of different viewpoints. For those of you guys who love 4K quality, it is a 4K camera on this drone. It's also got 3-directional environment sensing, so that way as it's flying around, the way the website puts it is that it's practically not able to crash. It's going to detect if it's about to bump into something and be able to alert you and change direction. It's also got 21 minutes of flight time from a full charge, so it's no longer you've got just a couple minutes to get done what you need. You can get 21 full minutes of flight time while using this. Now we'll put a link in the comments to let you guys know more about the drone and how to get your hands on it. It is going to retail for $799, and it is going to be available on January 28th. So I believe that's Monday, maybe, something like that.
It's the 24th today, so
yeah,
I think that's the 24th
it sounds about
today.
right. Sunday, Monday. Yeah. So very soon you guys will be able to get your hands on this drone. You can go ahead and do pre-orders on their site, but definitely something that sounds very nice, very promising. I'm definitely excited about it. I'm glad that we were able to find out about this.
Yes, that is awesome. Are there any other industry news pieces we have?
That's it for industry.
That's it in industry news. Awesome. That's what I thought. Just want to make sure, getting a couple good questions in. I guess we can maybe, before we switch over to our live video strategy, we can talk about a couple things because they kind of fit into the live video strategy. Also kind of Switcher questions, which if you do have a lot of questions with Switcher, Angela and I are going to be doing a webinar today at 4, so in a couple hours.
Yeah.
It is at 4, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
At 4.
In 2 hours.
You can join our user group. We'll get into all that stuff later, and there's an event in there you can connect to, and we're going to go over pretty much just a dry run through of setting up Switcher for the first time. So if that's something you're looking for, I would definitely check that out. But I did see one question here, someone saying their devices are all wired, but the size they get is 720p. And that is, I'm assuming you're probably streaming to Facebook, and Facebook actually limits your streaming to 720p.
Yeah.
You can record at higher qualities. You can record in the 1080p using director mode, but as far as streaming, you're limited to the 720, and that's Facebook, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's not a way at this time to get a 1080p stream with Facebook. If they do make that available, we'll be sure to let you guys know, but even with that wired setup, if you're streaming to Facebook, there are a few other platforms with that restriction as well. You are going to be limited to that 720p stream quality.
Yep. A couple other things I can just address really quickly. Someone I see saying trying to connect to DJI Osmo, not the Osmo Mobile. We need to have that iPhone as the connector, as the main camera, so you're not going to be able to connect an Osmo to Switcher. Mm-hmm. And then another one I saw coming through here was getting the DJI Osmo Mobile to work with Switcher Go. You're going to need Switcher Studio.
Yeah, the Osmo Mobile is a Switcher Studio only gimbal. So if you guys are using Switcher Go, if you're going to be hand holding a camera, it is great to have that stabilization, and you can definitely do that. But for the pan and tilt, you do have to be using Switcher Studio.
Awesome. Thank you, Angela, for that. And that's just a quick rapid fire. Get a few questions. I see a bunch of them coming through. Wanted to talk about those. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into some live video strategy. And this one here is the topic we have here hits home for me because I used to do contract video before Switcher Studio. So, and a lot of that was live, and the tips for this, don't just go for live video, but pretty much just if you're going to a video shoot in general, mm-hmm. These are kind of the rules to follow.
Even just photography, a lot of these are good takeaways to have for a photography shoot as well. So, a lot of people, when they know they're going to be going live or making a video or having a photo shoot, they put a lot of thought into what to wear. And what you might think is good to wear isn't always the case when you're behind the camera. So we're going to talk about a couple of pitfalls that people have and some alternatives to avoid those. So the first thing to watch out for is your jewelry. So if you're wearing just, basic jewelry, that's fine. But if you're wearing flashy jewelry or clunky jewelry, that's bad. It's distracting. People are going to be focused more on what is that instead of what you're saying. But also a lot of those flashier items are very shiny, so the studio lights are going to bounce off those, and that's going to hurt your video quality. Also, if you're wearing any kind of jewelry that creates noise, like charm bracelets, or when the holidays come around, something with jingle bells, that's also bad because even though it's soft to you in the studio, it's going to be very loud on the audio. And especially if you're wearing lav mics like Dan or I, if you've got a charm bracelet and you're moving your hand, that's jingling right over that mic more than your voice is projecting. So
necklaces too. Yeah.
Necklaces. Anything that's clanging together if you've got 3 or 4 necklaces. So definitely watch out for that. Make sure your jewelry, is kind of plain. You can still wear it, but nothing overly shiny, nothing that's going to create noise, and nothing that's going to clash together and make a lot of sound. Another thing to watch out for on the clothing topic is to avoid clothes with, logos or busy patterns. So, logos can also be distracting, but a main thing to take away from those is it looks like sponsorship. Even if that's not what you're trying to promote, if you're going live and wearing someone's, logo on your shirt or on your pants, someone can easily associate that other person with you, and that can cause a lot of issues down the road. For patterns, especially, thin stripes or something, that can create kind of a gradient effect on camera. It can really distort the quality on camera. You guys might have seen this even on TV. If someone is wearing thin stripes, it all starts to kind of blend together. So aim for solid color clothing, aim for plain colored clothing. If you do have some kind of wording, make sure it pertains to what you're doing on your camera, like how Dan's got Switcher Studio on his shirt.
I do.
We can wrap ourselves.
Now, something to be careful with wearing your own logo. I think it's okay for this, but you can see kind of above me we have this Live Wednesday and that logo. You're going to want to make sure that that's not close up. Like if I go to Angela's here and maybe the logo is like the Switcher Studio is on her shirt and then the logo's right next to it, it could look overlaying and look a little weird. So just be mindful of that if you are going to wear like your company's logo on there.
Yeah, definitely. Also on the topic of clothes, and this kind of goes back to the jewelry as well, avoid shiny fabrics. It's the same concept. If you're wearing something shiny, it's going to reflect the light, and that's going to create a lot of issues with the lighting on your camera. It's going to either cause a distortion, it's going to cause a lens flare. So aim for cotton and polyester clothing for best results. One other thing to watch out for is the color green. Now, green is my favorite color, but it's not the best thing to wear on set.
Green and blue.
And blue, yes.
And blue.
A lot of people will have green screen and blue screen so that they can do chroma keying. This isn't as common in live video. A lot of times live video will use just a standard background, but especially for recorded video or photography, you know, green screens and blue screens happen a lot. And what you might not be thinking of is you've got, let's say, some kind of green symbol on your shirt. When they chroma key out the background, you're going to have a piece of you missing in the photo or in the video. So, you know, stay away from green, stay away from blue, aim for pretty much any other color and you'll be all set. And, you know, as we mention all the time on the show, if possible, do a test run, not only to test your network quality, but also to see what do you look like on camera. Do you need to adjust the focus? Do you need to adjust the lighting? Do you need a quick clothing change? If you are going to be a guest on someone's show, ask them in advance for some kind of dress code. You know, what would you prefer I wear? What would you prefer I not wear? That keeps everyone happy, and that way you're playing by their studio setups rules as well as yours.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the key at the end of the day is if you don't get any guidelines or whatnot to wear, these are some great rules to follow, just general rules of thumb. But of course, I would always start with asking, hey, is there anything I should or shouldn't wear? Are we doing a green screen? Do I need to be worried about things like that? Because you might be able to wear green if you're going to be on a blue screen, or be on a blue screen, you can wear green. Or you could be like one person I remember having to key out who had logos all over their outfit, and there was green and blue. And not just it was chroma key green and chroma key blue, so had to go in and, you know, roto out everything, and it was a huge pain in the butt. Not recommended.
Yeah, and also, you know, for anyone who does like doing anything fun, you know, with their hair or anything, keep that in mind as well. An experience I told Dan about a week or two ago, in college, I had green streaks in my hair. I was in a video class. I lost part of my hair. So that's something that you probably won't think about right off the bat, but keep in mind anything that is going to be on you for the show is going to play a part on the live video. Now, we're going to have a blog post about this coming out tomorrow at switcherstudio.com/blog. So that way you guys will have a full list of tips that you guys can use. It'll go into some of what we talked about today and more. And you can guys can keep that at your disposal.
Yeah, even if you're not the talent and you're someone making the video and you want a list, just be like, here's an article that you can send to people going to be on your video so they know what to wear, what not to wear.
Yeah.
One other cool thing that came through, and this is a connection that Nick has made a while back, and that's with Mari Smith is her name, and she's been doing live video on Facebook since the very beginning. She's a great source for that kind of stuff, and she put out kind of a, I guess, 2018 beginnings, like what to expect, what's changed and whatnot. And she has about a 20-minute video. It has talks about like how to make meaningful social interactions, groups versus pages for different things. how to engage, all that good stuff. And I don't want to steal all of her thunder, but I'm going to post that link in here for everybody so you all can take a look at that if you'd like. I highly recommend you do. There's a lot of good information in it. It's a lot of stuff you might already know, but it's good to rehear some of these things and just remind yourself of the good practices for live video and Facebook Live specifically. So yeah, the link is in the comments there. You guys can take a look. I highly recommend you do that. Before we go on, I saw Mike responded talking about DJI Osmo Mobile being in the new update. I think that is right. Mike, if you're still in the watching this live here, go ahead and send us a support email, and we'll try and figure it out. But you might be right.
Yeah,
it might be in there.
Support at switcherstudio.com, and we'll get you taken care of.
Awesome. So that's some really good live video strategy. I think next we have our user group.
Yeah, so just in case you guys haven't checked out the user group yet or don't know what it is, we do have an online Facebook community. This week we hit 1,600 members, so it's still building very rapidly, but it's called Switcher Studio Enthusiasts, and there are 3 ways to find the group. You can either search for Switcher Studio Enthusiasts on our Switcher Studio Facebook page. You can click on groups and it'll take you there. Or if you're logged into your user dashboard at switcherstudio.com, you can click on join the community and it'll take you there. Whichever one of the 3 methods you use, there'll be just a short survey to fill out, and then you'll be able to get access to the group. It's very active. There are people posting in it constantly, and it's a great place to not only ask questions, but also to share tips and tricks and even videos that you've done with Switcher Studio. The entire Switcher Studio team's in there, so we can help you out as well. But what we like to do on the show is to, kind of go through the posts, think of one thing that stood out to us for the past week, and bring it to your attention for Stream Squad. And today we're going to be talking about how to know when you're actually live and when to start your live video. So especially if it's your first time, using Switcher Studio or really any kind of streaming service, one of the most nervous things is, am I ready to go live? And also making sure you don't go live until you're ready to do it. A lot of times that can be a little confusing with Switcher Studio. We'll have some users who wonder, as soon as they enter the app, are they live? As soon as they click on Facebook or YouTube, are they live? So we do want to let you guys know at the top right corner, there's going to be a red button if you're on an iPhone, or it'll be text that say record and broadcast on an iPad. When you tap on that, it's going to change to a counter. So when you see that counter, it'll just be going by seconds to let you know how long you've been live. That way you know that you are live. There is also a stream status indicator. It should be a green light, a little green light right next to that counter, and that means that you're live, your network's doing great, and you're good to go. If that turns yellow, that means there's some interference on your network. You might be experiencing some lag or drop frames in your stream, and you're also getting into a chance of having a crash. If you get a yellow light, keep an eye on your stream, see if there's anything you can do to improve it. If someone's, watching Netflix or something on your network, have them stop doing that, and that should help you go back to the green status. If your light hits red, that means you've crashed. So that way you're no longer live. If you're recording, you might still be recording, so you might want to keep going with that, and that way you have the video to upload later. But that'll let you know that your actual live stream is down.
The red button there just means that your network has dropped out.
Yeah.
Switcher's still running for you and whatnot. A lot of times what will show up is you'll see a stop recording plus broadcast or continue recording. And what you can do is if you stop record and broadcast and then
hit
the
the
internet,
button
like
again.
Let's say the internet just dropped for a second, then came back, you can tap the button to go live again, and it's gonna you might lose a couple seconds in between, but you're still going to have everything there. Everything's still going to be saved afterwards.
Yeah.
I've had to do that a couple times just where we're on a more public network, and I think just too many people joined or something.
Yeah, and it just kind of knocks it out.
The network drops out for a little
second.
bit. You can just stop it, start it again, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah. So that's one thing to, definitely take into account. As Dan was saying, most platforms like Facebook or YouTube, if you go live again to that same event within, about 30 seconds or so, it's going to put it onto that same broadcast so you don't have stream 1, stream 2, stream 3 going down. It's going to continue for your viewers. But again, when you open the app and go into the app, you are not live yet. Be sure to set up your stream any way you want, and when you hit that red record and broadcast button and you see the timer, that's how you know that you are actually live at that time.
Yeah. And Dustin asked, the green mean there is no lag? That just means that your network is running properly. Switcher's able to keep up, so yeah, there won't be any lag then. Pretty much what that means is that Switcher's able to compile all the frames from all your sources, and it's able to send it up, and it's not backlogging them. That's usually when it goes to yellow, is when Switcher's having to store and the device is having to work a lot harder to keep that video going. Some other things, I guess, to do is if you are getting that yellow light, if it's possible to just stream from one device and that device be the closest one to your main mixer or your main iPad making the switches, or if you're using the one you're making cuts with, if that's a camera as well, if you can just do that one and drop the other cameras, that might help out as well, since you're not having to send the frames over the wireless and then send them out. So that's another just little tip to help with that.
Yeah, and if you're in a situation where you're streaming from the same spot often, and a lot of times you are slipping into, that yellow light, you might also want to think about moving your stream quality down a little bit. So, off the bat, that's something that no one wants to really think about. Everyone wants that higher HD quality stream. But if you're in a situation where you're getting a lot of lag, a lot of dropped frames, your quality is going to be better by dropping down to medium or even low if that's what your network can handle, rather than keeping higher HD and risking a crash or that kind of glitched out view. So if it's a situation where you can't control your network, you are experiencing a lot of interference, definitely move that down. Your recording can still be 1080p with director mode, so you will have that high quality recording after, but lower your stream, and that's going to be a much better experience for you and your viewers.
Yeah, another thing to actually, I've kind of just blanked. I'm making the switches here, and I just blank completely. What were we just talking about? We're talking about the
lowering your quality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you do have to end up lowering your quality, what we've learned or what we've seen is most people are watching on their phone here, something just like this, and the medium, even the low, is still going to look okay. Of course, it's going to look better if you're streaming at the full 720p, because that's HD.
Yeah.
But if you have to drop it, it's still better than if it's lagging every couple seconds from frames being dropped. So just another thing to consider.
Yeah.
Okay, so another thing that we'll just kind of briefly go over is we kind of talked about how to know when you're live with Switcher, and I guess we kind of went into the networking stuff there too with it. But another thing is how to go live, or what's the first thing. We've talked about this on the show before, but if you haven't heard it, I'm just going to run through what we do when we're going live here for this show, just to give you an idea of how we do it. So we schedule our broadcasts on Facebook. So we use the custom RTMP. You don't have to do that. You can just choose the Facebook. Again, as soon as you tap if you're just on Facebook or even using the custom RTMP, as soon as you tap the red button there, you're going to be going live. So we usually start with the broadcast will begin shortly, full screen image, just so you're not just like, oh, hey, I'm live now. Hi, everyone. It can be a little more produced if you go to there. You can also mute your mic at the top. That's what we do. So you can kind of collect yourself, get ready, maybe do a mental countdown, and then go live. And if you're even a little more savvy and want to do something like a countdown video, we have our 30-second countdown video before we go live, and that just, again, just lets everybody connect it, so you're not just starting immediately, and it's just not dead air as well. If someone's watching it after the fact, they're not seeing 30 seconds of broadcast will begin shortly and having to scrub through to find where you're actually starting. So once I have that countdown, another big thing that I highly recommend is after your 30-second countdown, have a text at the end of that is maybe your logo or the show title, maybe a sponsor logo, something like that, or even, again, the broadcast will begin shortly graphic. That way you don't have to be exactly right there ready to tap. So I think afterwards we have, it fades into where it's just a blue screen and it says hashtag Stream Squad on it. And from there we're able to, I think it's about 15 seconds there, but we can, I usually tell Angela, okay, mics are hot, unmute our mics, and then I wait for her to start talking, and that's when I cut, and it just looks a little more produced than as soon as you tap the button to go live, and then be like, oh, it's working. Okay, we're live now. Hi, everybody. So that's kind of a brief run through here, and I'll tell you what, I put together a blog post a while back that's helping you create your own Facebook Live countdown video. So if that's something you want to do, you can use the templates. I put a couple up there if you have something like Premiere or Final Cut that you could make one of those with. And I also have some that are already done, so you could just put some music underneath it or just use it without any music. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there, and I'm going to throw back over to Angela so I can check some of these comments coming through, and yeah, if you'd like to talk about what's going on next.
Yeah, so we're getting into our hashtag Mate with Switcher section, and this kind of goes along with the user group. A lot of people will share content they've created, and they'll add in, what's it about, how Switcher was used, and they'll be able to share those with the entire group. So we see a lot of great posts coming through that way. Also, if you're going to be posting your video to another social media site like Twitter or Instagram, tag it with hashtag Mate with Switcher. We do go through that tag and we do watch the videos, and whether it comes from the hashtag or the user group, we like to share one example of a great video created with Switcher Studio each week, and they've all been impressive. This one kind of blew us away though. This is from the World Poker Tour League. So they're out of New South Wales. This is a broadcast they did 3 days ago for the quarterly poker championship, and they really went all out for this. They've got a gimbal going on for the pan and tilt. They've got their multiple angles. They've got great audio. They had a lot of live viewers on this broadcast, and even more after that. So I remember helping them out when they first got started, just helping them with what kind of equipment to get. So it's definitely great to see what they've been able to do, with that advice, with some testing, and the fact that they were able to create such a great video for their championship.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can kind of scrub through and try and find a spot where they use it, but I really like when they get to, I guess it's the river or the flop or something like that, I think it's called. And they had a picture-in-picture so they can show people's reactions, and then they could show the cards overhead, and yeah, it looked really, really sharp. It was a really good, really well-produced video.
Yeah, we'll definitely leave a link to that video in the description and in the comments so you guys can check the whole thing out. Again, that is the World Poker Tour League from New South Wales, and you can follow them on their Facebook page. It's WPT League Tweed Coast. So WPT League Tweed Coast. They're going to be doing, more examples of this. I will warn you guys, if you are going to watch the whole video and don't want it spoiled, their cover banner right now announces the winner. So if you do want to watch it without spoilers, watch the video first and then like their page.
Awesome. I do believe that is all the time we have for right now. I guess thank you everybody for tuning in. Again, if you're interested in I know there were some kind of more technical Switcher Studio questions, and of course you can always join that user group and ask questions there, or you can email our support@switcherstudio.com to get a hold of. It's going to be one of us probably, so you can do that as well. And if you join that user group, we're also going to be doing the webinar later on today. Again, that's going to be kind of a top-down, first time using Switcher Studio. I saw a bunch of our longtime Switcher users have signed up for that as well. So there might be some really good insight in the comments as well. So
Yeah.
it could be interesting, could be really good. So if you are checking this out for the first time, and of course, if you're watching this after the fact, those webinars are going to happen every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so you can check that out there.
Yeah, and the webinar is great for, if you're currently on a trial or, thinking about starting a trial, or even if you've been with us for a while and just need a refresher. And the user group is also open to everyone, whether you've just heard about Switcher Studio or you've had Switcher Studio for years. Everyone's welcome into the group and into the webinar. Just remember, the webinar is going to be kind of that basic getting started overview. It won't go as technical. You would want to post those questions just to the user group page.
All right, everybody, that's it for us for now. Hopefully see you here same time next week.
Yeah, see you guys.
Take care.